Hi, this is Blockchain Bad. Welcome to another episode of the Sui Move Smart Contracts Development Series. Today, I'm going to be talking about Enum. So, let's know what the Move book. It explained here that an Enum is a user-defined data structure that, unlike stocks, can represent multiple variants. Each variant can contain related types, stocks, and other enums. Okay, so before we continue and get to that, um, let me give an example with smart contacts before we head over to like using enums. So I'm going to head over to VS Code and I'm going to write a sample smart contract of using enums and versus using enums. Then from there I would explain enums way better that way. Okay. So now let me write this smart contracts for like ordering. Let's say you own in just like an online store. So let me get the stocks first and let me call the stocks order. So this object is going to hold our order details and everything about our order. So let me give it a key ability and also a store ability. So let me give an amount. Let's say calculate an amount. Let me give it a status. So it's going to be order status, and let me just make it of type U8. Then let's say it has a tracking number. So it has a tracking ID, and let me give it an option string because at first it's going to be like none. So let me give it an option string. I think I have to import string also. Then after that, let's say the other field. So let me just give it a failure reason. Just in case the other fields, and let me make an option string. See, this is optional. And also let me give it an error code. Let me make it optional. So it needs to be option of type U8. Now let me come and create a new function. Let me call the function creates order. So first of all, okay, let me just remove this amount flag for now. Let me not make things too confusing. So first of all, let me just create a new order. Let me just pass in the classroom context. Then create a new order. Then we'll create our ID objects new. And secondly, our status. So let me come up here and create 3 different status for this transaction. So let me make them constant. So first of all, I would say status pending. So I'll give a pending status let's see 0. Secondly, I could say status shipped. I can make this 1. And thirdly, I could say status failed. I could make that 2. So for now, let me make my first status pending. So since you can see a new order, it's going to be pending for now. So it's going to be status pending. Then for attacking, for now, let me just make it it's optional. So for now, it's going to be none. So let me just make tracking. Option none. Also for failure, needs to be none for now. Then the error code also needs to be none, because the error code will be put in there when there's a failure. So option none. What are we missing? Error. Okay, so it's supposed to be error code, not error. So error code. Then I think we can now transfer it. Let me just make it a shade objects. Then for this, let me just give it a owner. So I'm going to be type address. When they tell order, also let me just add an owner. Personal owner address. Then I could come over here and put an owner. That's it for now. So also I can come and create another function. Then I can just call it update order to shipped. Then I have to take in the order and it's to take in table reference of order. So now all I just have to do is just to change the order to the order code to shift. So I can say order dot status. Just change status to just status shipped. So for now, to easy where you have to check that the order is not successful field, so you have to make sure that the order is always pending. So I can come in and say the start order dot status is equal to status pending. Like I just give it an error code of 0. I can write another function again. Then right now I could just write another function called update status status to build. She has to pass in my order and see taking in our meter reference. Then this time if the order is filled, first of all, I have taken the order, then you give it for failure. So if you remember we have failure, then I have to take in the reason why it failed. So let me just, I supposed to put this as failure reason. Failure reason. So go here, I'll take a failure reason. It's going to be a string. Then I also take a code right field and maybe failure code. I'm going to be of type I think I made it U8. It's going to be of type U8. Now coming back here, I still have to make sure that our status is pending, so before I change it, let me come and put assets. Then I could come and change order dot failure reason is equal to failure reason. Failure reason. Then also, okay, optional thing, sorry. So I'll say option sum, then to the failure reason. Then after that, I could say order dot status. Okay, error code. Alright, that's error code is equals to option sum. Then I can pass in the code. Then lastly, I have to update the status flag. So come here, order dot status. Then I'll change this to status field. So that's it for now. These are called smart contracts. What it just does is creates a new order and puts the order details. Then it updates the order if it's shipped or failed. So I think this smart contract is correct. But if I'll bring some key things to you, now let me deploy my smart contracts. So let me publish it. So we successfully published our smart contract. This is the object ID. So let me come here and call the first function, which is create order. So now I'm going to send the order to our address and I'll place it over here and execute that. So we successfully created an order. Let me copy the order ID and we can head over to SuiScan on DevNet, so we can just place the ID right there. So these are other details for now. Right now, I think status is 0, so it's pending. So coming back here, let me try to update our status to field. Now let me paste in our order. Now let me say something like let's just give it like so let me give it a reason of, let's say, payments the client. Then let me just give it an error code of 0 and let me execute this. So it's successful. Coming back to Sui Vision and let me refresh. You'd see familiarly implement the client status too. So first of all, there are some things off in these smart contracts, which was we putting pending shift and field. So if you notice, if you come here, it's very hard to read. You're coming here saying to status 2. You always have to keep track of that with this shift status. So one way something off here is because it's the status. Secondly, we go to our codes, the failure is in, there can be mistakes, no? That's why we have enums. Now coming back here, let me just give you a simple definition of enums. So enums is a way to group a set of possible values together under one type. So now let me give you an example of that. Let me come back here, copy this code. Let me just create enums 2. Let's move. Let me paste this and change this to enums 2. So now here now, like I gave the definition, I said enums is a way of grouping is a way to group set of possible values under one type. So now instead of me to have something like this now, I can group them to one type. So I can come here and create something like public enum. So always know that to keep enums you have to use the public keyword enum, and every enum must be public. So I can come here and call this my enum order status. Then I can give it some abilities. So because our structure we're going to use as a star ability, I'm going to make a star ability. Now first of all I create my first enum, which is pending. Now I can create pending, I can create shifts, and I can also create field. So now instead of me having to always do this, like it's very hard to go to Explorer and read the codes. It's very easier like this. I can just remove this, then I can come here and my status now is going to be of type other status. Sorry, going to be of type other status. Coming. Okay. I'm supposed to change it here also. So status also supposed to be this. So I will come here, since I'm creating a new order, I can say status pending. Then I can come over here again, I can say order the status will always be equal to, change this to order status then pending. Copy this again and paste it over here. Okay, there's not a drop ability, so we can come here and give it a drop ability. Okay, and also a copy ability. So come also and give it a copy ability. Then now I'll change it to other status shifts. Then I can change this to other status field. So now if you look at it now, if I deploy my smart contacts, you're going to see that it's either going to show shift field. So it's going to be very easy to be rather than just using numbers, but I'm not going to deploy it. I'm still going to change some things. So that also means by it can it's enum is a way to group a set of possible values together under one type, and also each value is called a variant. So each of this now is called each variant, and each of these variants can hold its own data. So now let me give you an example of what I'm trying to say. Now something like this, now in this shift we can give it its own value. So I can come here and give it its own value, and let's say it's going to take a string. Also when it is shipped now, when it is shipped, I can change to other ships. Then let's see, I can give it a tracking number. So that's why I add this tracking. So I can give it a tracking ID. So let me just come here and let me just give it tracking ID. Let me call it tracking. Going to be of type string. Now when it is shipped, I can also add a tracking ID to it. So when I'm auditing the status to shipped, I will add a tracking to it. And also again, if you come here now, if you notice that we have something like failure reason and failure code. So now we could put all these under field. Now I come here and secrets the construct stopped again on that field. And I can give it a reason of failure, and it's really of type string. I can also give it the code, which is going to be of type U8. So now, right now, I cannot get rid of these two. Yeah, I don't need them. And also this tracking, it's no longer important because I've actually put them under this enum, so it makes it more flexible and more easy for my codes to read, and there are less mistakes to make. So I can come here also and remove this 3 here. I don't need it. So now coming back here now, since I'm updating status to field now, I remove this 2, it's no longer needed. Then I'll come here for field now. I'll put this in a block. Then I can give a reason. What do I call it? Okay, I call it reason. So I can give a reason, and I'll assign it to. Let me just copy this video reason. Then I can also give it a code. So that is, if you look at it now, our code is now well structured, easy to read, and it will reduce mistakes. So right now, it's always spending, we have pending rather than using just values. So now, to get this clearly, let me deploy our smart contracts again. So let me click on and publish. So we successfully deployed our smart contracts. So let me come here and create another order. Where I'm going to take from enum 2. I'm going to copy our wallet address again. Let me execute it. So we successfully created. Let me copy the object ID and head over to the SuiScan thing. So head over to fields. So now this time, if you look at it now, we have it as status. The status is pending. So now if you look at it now, it's a variant. I told you each of them are called variants. Now let me go and update my status. If you notice here, it's now easy to read. Unlike before, you just put in 0, 1. This is now way very easy to read. Come here again. Now let me update my status to a field. Now let me paste it. Now let me give it a reason. Let's say payment. We successfully deployed our smart contract. Heading over to C Explorer. I'm refreshing. So if I come out to status, you would notice that variants failed, and the reason is payment declined, and we have a code of 0. So instead of using a code, we can just use an enum. So enum is a way to group set of possible values together under one type, and each type is called a variant, and each of them can hold its own data. So you might ask, why not use numbers or string? So there are some reasons why you should use enums rather than using numbers or strings. So one of the reasons is risk of invalid value. So why using enums? The compiler enforces choices, so you only have limited choices and you can't make mistake. And also, numbers or strings are hard to read most times. So instead of us using 0, look at it, it is clear. That's a clear meaning. We use other status pending, so it's very easy without codes. Another thing is that numbers and strings cannot have their own data as that. So one example was the variance. So each of the variants can carry each data. So you notice now we had an other status field, and we also had a reason and a code for failure. So that's it for today. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them on the comment section on DME. And our advice, you go back and practice it. You can head over to the Move book, go to enums. So So you'll see a lot about enums. You can read more about enums. So I just give you the basics of enums. And just like I said, you have any question, feel free to drop them or the comment section. And also DM me. My social media handles will be on the description below. Thank you very much. See you in the next tutorial video.